Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. It's 7:24 in the morning. All of this enthusiasm that I'm exhibiting right now is false. It is not the genuine article. I am tired. I picked up this, I know I'm always telling you how tired I am. I picked up this turn today. It's just a turn because I picked up another turn earlier this month in order to get me to the hump where I would get time and a half. So today's trip, 5.5 hours credit, is going to be time and a half. I think I'm at 97 hours this month. Anything over 85 is time and a half. So I'm pretty happy with that. I am tired. For some reason, I thought my day started at, is that a parking spot? I thought my day started at 4:20 this afternoon for some strange reason. I should have known better that it would start at 8:20 this morning because I've already worked this trip the day before yesterday. My penalty lap that I mentioned was a Salt Lake City turn out of Vegas. That's what I'm doing today. So I'm just doing one turn. Each leg was an hour and like 2 minutes or something, so it should be a very easy day. I think I'm middle seniority today, so I will probably end up flying either C or B. It doesn't matter. It's a super simple day, so knock on wood. Let's see. So it is 7:26. I think I should be able to get an okay parking spot today. I've got a little less than an hour. I'm hoping to be able to get some coffee, maybe a breakfast sandwich, because of course I did not give myself enough time to eat or make coffee. That's a parking spot over there. Let's see if I can grab that. So I will see you hopefully after some coffee, and this enthusiasm will be a little bit more genuine. And yeah, there you go. I will see you after I find a parking spot and some coffee. So I didn't know what time I had to go to work, and then I didn't know where I was going. So I'm not going to Salt Lake City. I'm going to San Antonio. And I am flying lead. Reggie's flying it back. Joel's flying it back. I don't know my chaser. I think she's new. But yeah, so let's go to San Antonio. I don't know any flight information yet, but I'll let you know later on. Hey guys, hi. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Welcome back to my car. Sheeny wants me dead. The car, named after a cat in Tibetan, is boiling hot. It's actually an instrument of torture right now. I forgot. I didn't think about it. I just reached for the door handle, burnt myself, sat in the car, put the seatbelt on, burnt myself. The metal part of this seatbelt is like a hot skillet. So it's brutal right now here in Las Vegas. I have the air on, so I should be okay. Today was very nice. I had the high point of my day. Cannot leave this out of my recap. The high point of my day was the flight coming back from San Antonio. I thought it was Salt Lake City for some reason, but San Antonio. Coming back, I had just done a trash run, and this gentleman walked up to me and said, "Hey, is that trash bag still like available?" I'm like, yeah, it's right here on top. Good. He accidentally threw his son's retainer in the garbage. It was wrapped up in some napkins. Okay. So what do? Hand the passenger the bag? No, of course I had to go through the bag. I didn't bother putting gloves on. I know someone's going to scream at me for that, but the skin without any cuts or wounds is a very effective barrier. And the worst thing in that bag is saliva. And not to gross you out, I've had a very extensive dating life in the past. Not in a long time. I can handle a little spit. Oh my God. Well, the things I say to you, I have washed my hands. The things I say out loud, so I found a half of the retainer, and I thought that was the whole thing. I don't know what a retainer looks like. So I found the half, and I brought it up, and he's like, there's another part. Okay. But when I gave him that, he handed me a 20. And I said, no, 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 no. If I do something remarkable, you can go ahead and tip me. He said, you're digging through the trash to get my son's retainer. Okay, I'll take the 20. So he gave me 20 bucks, and I did find the second half of the retainer. I gave the young man a antiseptic wipe to wipe down his retainer, and then I told him when it's safe to get up, go in the lavatory, use the hand soap, and I gave him a bottle of water to rinse his retainer out. I didn't want him using the water from the sink in his mouth. It's not potable. Do not drink water out of an airplane sink. But they were both very, very grateful, and just really, it was a good laugh in the end. But the flight was just lovely. We had multiple competing basketball teams, young men in their teens. They all treated each other beautifully. They all had their coaches and their parents with them, so that's probably a reason they were also nice to one another. But yeah, it was a really, really nice day. My chaser going to San Antonio was lovely. She's been here for about since I think October. The other chaser coming back here to Las Vegas, she's been here for 9 years, I think, 9 or 10 years. Super, super nice, really enthusiastic, great energy, which I love because I can kind of work with that. It's the working with the people who are like, well, I don't know, it's not my job. I hate those people. But yeah, so it was a really, really nice day. So if you watched yesterday's video, oh, hold on one sec. Whew, sorry about that, guys. My phone got so hot that it stopped recording. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot. So I was saying, if you watched yesterday's video, it was a question and answer video I filmed while I was sitting over at IKEA. And at the end of the video, I said, hey, if you have any other questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to address those maybe in a future video or whatnot. And here I am driving home after a trip, and my video, this video that you're watching, would probably be 6 minutes long, which is not my type of video. So let's answer the question that someone wrote in the comment section. Why did you leave Boston? Man, that's a question. And the answer is a bit of a story time. So I'm going to try and be relatively general about this, because it's honestly, as I think about it, it's kind of hard to talk about. It's surprisingly hard to talk about. And on the flip side, some of you don't want to hear what I have to say about why I left Boston. So I'm going to stop in Savers on the way home. So why did I leave Boston? I have been living in Boston, for years and years and years. At the time, I was living in Ashmont Hill in Dorchester in a friend's house. I was paying $750, $800 a month for a room with my own bathroom, which is very nice. I find it funny that I was paying so much for a room. It's almost what I pay for my mortgage for my house now. I just love it. It's wonderful. But I was living in Dorchester. At the time, I think I was working at Saks Fifth Avenue in Fine Jewelry. I had been dating someone named Steven. I've dated 3 Stevens in my life. And Steven had money. He came from a family with a lot of money. He made a lot of money. He took me on a cruise. And while that cruise was the end of our relationship, oh, look how dirty my windows are. That cruise was the end of our relationship, because it was the nail in the coffin, shall we say. I loved cruising. I fell in love with cruising. So the next year, I took the same cruise with the same tour group, and but by myself, which was kind of an adventure. I was sharing, the cruise group set me up with another solo traveler so we could share the expense of one room rather than me having to pay for, the single supplement. Well, that person never showed up on the trip, so I got the room to myself, which is very exciting. So on that trip, it was a week cruise around the Caribbean. I met my friends Steven, Phil, and Juan, who will hopefully be lifelong friends of mine, and I love them dearly. But during that cruise, I also met thing one and thing two. Do you remember the video where I talked about the piece of pottery I found at Goodwill that my ex-boyfriends made? And I found it here in Las Vegas. So some of you watched that, some of you haven't watched it. And I've touched on the idea of what this story is going to be about, but I didn't really share that many details. So on that cruise, I also met a couple. I call them Thing 1 and Thing 2 because I don't want to use their names. Thing 1, Thing 2 have been in a relationship for 30 years. Thing 1 was a little older than me, probably 10, 12, maybe a little bit older than that, older than me. And Thing 2 was probably 5 or 6 years older than me. They had been together for 30 years, and they had a very tumultuous relationship. Thing 1, very florid storytelling, weaving fantasy, and just very artistic and creative. And we both would we followed each other down all sorts of long paths in these stories and sharing our histories, and it was like just really crazy and in depth. Thing 2 was definitely much more of a physical thing, but also another different kind of emotional connection. But he was much more centered, much more analytical thinking, and the parts of me, there are parts of me that are like that, were drawn to that as well. And in the course of a week on this amazing cruise ship, we spent pretty much every minute together, and we all felt something that was really powerful. And so you've heard of polyamorous relationships. There's a few of you out there who really don't want to hear about this, so you can stop listening if you want to. We all felt something was happening, and at the it was an amazing time. I've never even imagined such romance ever in my life. I've never felt connections like that in my life, and I feel things pretty deeply, you might have recognized. But at the end of the cruise, it was the last day, we're all heading towards the exit, literally, and I'm sobbing. I mean, I'm racked with sobs because I'm losing something. Something's going to walk out the door that I treasure deeply, and apparently it was reciprocal. And so that was the beginning of a long-distance relationship. So we spoke on using Skype every day. I had taken pottery classes in college, and they're both potters. They're full-time potters. So I started taking a pottery class in Boston because I wanted to have something more in common that was another thing that we had shared, was a love for pottery. And we did this long distance relationship thing. Thank God for Skype. And then we started traveling back and forth. And then the next Christmas, I went down to spend Christmas there, and things had gotten really hot and heavy, and the word love had been used often and frequently followed by tears, and I love you, and it was beautiful and also painful. It was like emotional dry heaves, just loving someone from a distance is so hard. And I can say, I've never felt like that about anybody else. Even my ex-husband, honestly, I did not love him as much as I loved these guys. I loved them. And Christmas that next year, they gave me a copy of their wedding ring, which, even right now, thinking about it, I can't even describe. I have always wanted to know that I was capable of loving someone truly, and I've always dreamt of someone loving me. And this seemed to be the ultimate proof that someone loved me. And it was like their wedding ring, it was like the most amazing experience I've ever had as an adult in terms of romance and things like that. But so we kept on doing the long distance thing, back and forth, traveling back and forth, and blah, blah, blah. I eventually moved down there to Florida. I gave up everything. I sold my furniture. I gave up my job. I gave up my recovery community. I gave up my friends. I gave up the proximity to everything that I had come to almost define me in Boston, to move down to Florida to become a potter and wear the same clothes all week long, covered in dirt and mud and clay. But I was with them, and I was so happy. But I think it's often the case of you get what you want and it's not what you wanted, right? Well, I was what they wanted and then didn't want. And apparently, and I can see part of why that was, because I was definitely a different person back then than I am now, to a degree. But they broke up with me just months after I gave up everything to be there. So that ended, and it's catastrophic. It was truly, truly catastrophic. It set me into a tailspin that I did not know I would recover from. I was, 14, 15 years sober at the time. And when this happened, living in Florida, I'm driving around in this white minivan, which came into play later, looking around, and I would look for the largest tree I could find to think if I could drive into a tree and kill myself. I shouldn't say that on my YouTube channel. I was looking for trees to drive into. I was looking for underpasses to drive into, because I just didn't know I could survive that breakup. Ta-da! So, more than you wanted to know, right? So, what is the silver lining? I say this all the time, and I'm so proud of myself. Sometimes I get emotional. I'm so proud of who I am today, in that what I can do is talk about true tragedy. For me personally, it was personal tragedy, to look for a silver lining. What did I learn from this experience? And I'm proud of myself for getting to that point. It did take me a couple years, but I got there. The silver lining is I would not have the life I have right now, that I love so much and that I would defend with every fiber of my being, if I hadn't left everything behind in Boston. I'd still be living in Dorchester at my friend's house. I'd still be living, working at Neiman Marcus or Saks behind a jewelry counter, selling jewelry that I didn't care about, and people, whatever. I would still be living this, I don't know, I can't say I was unhappy, but I wasn't happy either in Boston at that point. So the fact that I was able to implode completely and then rise from that in getting the job that I have, eventually moving here to Las Vegas, owning my own home, having a car, having my cats, which are amazing. So without that absolute catastrophe of a relationship and the way that it ended so abruptly and mean, they were mean. I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't have what I have today. So I know that's a lot more than you expected after doing a turn to San Antonio, but I know that a lot of you in the comment section had said that you did want to hear more about this story, so I just didn't think I was going to tell it to you. Not today. I got tears in my eyes. I think I've shared enough. If you haven't already started typing a comment under in the comment section, please be respectful. I'm not going to tell you that you have to be nice. I would like you to be nice, but if you can't be nice, don't say anything at all. That's what they say, right? But so if you do have a comment, be respectful. You may not approve, or you might disapprove vehemently against any lifestyle that's not whatever you think define a relationship to be. But I feel, I don't know what I feel about telling you this story. I have to see if I'm going to actually post this. But blah, 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 blah. Let me go into Savers and just poke around for a little bit before I go home And I will thank you for joining me on this trip to San Antonio. I think I might have a little cry, actually, after I finish talking to you. I feel like I need a good cry. So I'm going to talk to you guys later, all right? Fly safe. Bye.